Welcome back to our series, Creationism versus Evolution, where we dive deep into the fascinating discourse surrounding the origins of life and the development of species. Today, in Episode 5, we're focusing on a topic that has ignited countless discussions: the debate on human evolution and the absence of intermediate forms between humans and apes. Let's start by revisiting the traditional stages in human evolution, from Australopithecus, Homo habilis, and Homo erectus to Homo sapiens. This progression suggests a linear development from ape-like ancestors to modern humans. But as we delve deeper, we find compelling arguments challenging this view. Our journey begins with Australopithecus. Once believed to be a direct ancestor of humans, Australopithecus is now considered by some experts to be merely an ape. Despite claims by researchers like Richard Leakey and Donald C. Johanson that Australopithecus walked upright, studies by Lord Solly Zuckerman and Professor Charles Oxnard suggest otherwise. After extensive research, Zuckerman concluded that Australopithecus was no bipedal creature but a regular ape, a view supported by Oxnard's findings that Australopithecus closely resembles modern orangutans. Moving on to Homo habilis, often dubbed the handyman for supposed human traits, further discoveries have blurred the lines even more. Bernard Wood and C. Loring Brace proposed reclassifying Homo habilis and Australopithecus habilis, highlighting its ape-like features. This classification is bolstered by findings from Tim White and anthropologist Holly Smith, who noted similarities in tooth development patterns between Homo habilis and African apes, distinct from those of Homo erectus and Neanderthals. Yet, the plot thickens with Homo erectus, known for crafting tools and possibly engaging in seafaring. This species shows traits that are unmistakably human, challenging the notion that clear-cut boundaries separate us from our ancient relatives. Homo rudolfensis adds another layer to this complex narrative. Initially hailed by Leakey as a groundbreaking discovery, subsequent analysis revealed that its facial structure, once thought to resemble modern humans, actually projected outwards in a manner akin to Australopithecus, painting it more as an ape than a human ancestor. Despite these debates, the consensus is stronger regarding species like Homo erectus and beyond, including Neanderthals and Cro-Magnons, which are universally recognized as fully human. Variations among these groups are no more significant than those seen among modern human races today. This perspective is supported by comparisons of skull volumes and other anatomical features, reinforcing the idea that intelligence and human traits cannot be solely determined by physical measurements. Let's continue with the Neanderthals, a group that has been subject to much speculation and misunderstanding over the years. Contrary to the outdated view of Neanderthals as primitive and vastly different from us, recent research has painted a much more nuanced picture. Paleoanthropologist Eric Trinkhaus from the University of New Mexico has pointed out that Neanderthals were very much like modern humans in many respects, with robust bodies and even larger brain volumes, but no evidence of inferiority. They buried their dead, created musical instruments, and shared cultural practices with Homo sapiens of their time. Anatomically, there's no question that Neanderthals were human. They had a balanced posture, the dexterity to use tools, and could perform a variety of movements identical to those of modern humans. Discoveries have even shown that Neanderthals used makeup and crafted tools, including sewing needles, challenging the notion of them as mere brutish cave dwellers. Further debunking the myth of the Neanderthal as an unsophisticated transient in the Near East, evidence suggests they were long-term residents with complex burial rites, possibly knowledge of medicinal plants, and the ability to speak. This information points to a sophisticated society with well-developed linguistic capabilities. The discussion of Neanderthals leads us to a broader point: the significant gap between apes and humans. The skeletal structures, skull volumes, and bipedalism clearly distinguish humans from our ape cousins, with no intermediate forms found to bridge this gap conclusively. The fossil record challenges the linear progression model from Australopithecus to Homo sapiens. Instead of a chronological sequence, we find overlapping existences. Australopithecus, Homo habilis, and Homo erectus, for instance, have been found in close proximity in the Olduvai Gorge, suggesting they coexisted rather than evolved directly from one to the other. This complexity is echoed by paleontologist Stephen Jay Gould, who noted the coexistence of multiple hominid lineages without clear evolutionary trends. Moreover, discoveries of Homo erectus and archaic Homo sapiens, some as recent as 13,000 years ago, alongside modern human fossils in Middle Pleistocene layers, challenge the traditional timelines. These findings suggest a much earlier appearance of anatomically modern humans than previously thought. The narrative of human evolution is further complicated by discoveries in places like the Grandalina cave in Spain, where an 800,000-year-old modern human child was found, and in Laetoli, Tanzania, where 3.6-million-year-old footprints indistinguishable from those of modern humans have been discovered. These findings suggest that the linear model of human evolution, from Australopithecus through Homo habilis and Homo erectus to modern humans, might be an oversimplification. Instead, the evidence points towards a more complex pattern of evolution, with multiple species coexisting and possibly interacting with each other. Now let's move forward with the subject of Ape-Men, science fiction versus science fact. The idea of Ape-Men, beings bridging the gap between modern humans and our ancient ape ancestors, has captured the imagination of scientists and the public alike. However, the evidence and interpretation of ancient human remains have sparked intense debate and controversy. David R. Pilbeam, a prominent anthropologist from Harvard University, highlights a fundamental issue in paleontology: the scarcity of data and how it influences interpretations, often reflecting contemporary ideologies rather than hard evidence. This suggests that some reconstructions of ancient human remains, positioned as intermediates between humans and apes, may be more speculative than scientific. Ernest A. Houghton, also from Harvard, cautions against the hazardous undertaking of reconstructing soft parts like lips and noses from fossilized skulls, indicating that such reconstructions have little scientific value and can mislead the public. This underscores the speculative nature of some depictions of ancient humans. S.J. Gould, a respected evolutionary biologist, notes the speculative nature of stories composed from fragments of jaws and skulls, pointing out that the field is rife with interpretations based on scant evidence. The case of the Basque people illustrates how contemporary populations with unique anthropological features could be misinterpreted as belonging to ancient periods if judged solely by physical characteristics and cultural practices. The search for human evolutionary ancestors is fraught with frustration and contention. Tim White, a noted paleoanthropologist, and Henry G., editor of Nature, both express skepticism about the narratives constructed around human evolution, suggesting that much of what is presented as a lineage is speculative and not grounded in scientific testing. Lord Solly Zuckerman adds to the critique by positioning the study of human evolution as less scientific, given its reliance on conjecture and the influence of preconceived notions. This skepticism is echoed in the history of paleoanthropology, which includes notable missteps such as the Piltdown Man hoax and the misinterpretation of the Nebraska Man, which was later found to be a pig's tooth, not evidence of a human-ape intermediary. The tragic story of Ota Benga, a human being displayed as an ape-man in the early 20th century, highlights the ethical and scientific failures in the quest to find human ancestors. Benga's treatment reflects the dangerous intersection of scientific speculation and societal prejudices, culminating in a dark chapter of human exploitation. In conclusion, while the discussion on human evolution is far from settled, it's clear that the journey from our ancient ancestors to modern humans is complex and nuanced. The absence of definitive intermediate forms challenges the simplistic narrative of a linear progression from apes to humans, inviting us to explore the rich tapestry of our past with an open mind. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the fascinating and sometimes controversial search for our origins. Stay tuned for more episodes in our Creationism versus Evolution series, where we delve deeper into the mysteries of our past.